Old Tabor. It was peak, wasn't it? When I think of Old Tabor, I think of green grass and blue skies. Because Old Island was a part of Old Tabor, obviously. But, before we get started, this brings us to the question of what Old Tabor is. On March 20th, 2023, a new VR extraction shooter was born. Ghosts of Tabor. Now here would very obviously mark the point of an Old Tabor, but this might even be considered ancient Tabor, so we're going to take it forward a bit. Wait, skip that! On July the 30th, 2025, Combat Waffle Studios decided to give Island a not-so-little makeover. For me and many others, this wrecked the fun of Island. People running from fights too often too far to see, so this is where I mark New Tabor for the sake of this video, and where this brings me to my first of 10 points on why Old Ghosts of Tabor was better than its current state. Alright ladies and gentlemen, so what we're going to do is label what Old Tabor did better than current Tabor, and then try and give some fixes to the problems without being like, just bring it back. So first up here, we've actually got the colours. Now this is more directed at Island. I feel like the other maps still look visually pleasing, but jeez, Island! Neither of those photos are edited, by the way, so I don't know how hard a grass colour change is to achieve, but they did it once before, I believe. The grass used to be even less green, so I'm sure they could do it again. But yeah, coming in at number 2, we have secure containers. Now I am not a big fan of secure containers in VR. Now in VR especially, because you can squeeze whatever you can fit in there. 30 Promodols, 6 NRSs, 20 keycards, and a bloody Glock 17. Unlike games like Arc Raiders, where you have slots, you can put a couple good items or a stack of something in there rather than jamming whatever you can fit. But that's not my only problem. I think this picture right here is the most keycards I ever had in a wipe before secure containers. And this isn't like a bad amount. Like now I don't see shit. People have their keycards stuffed up their ass to go and hit them. There actually used to be a reward when you killed a couple of fellas at Vault, but now you just see they're probably mid-kit, because they don't lose the keycard if they die, so there's no motive to run a good kit. And keycards aren't the only problem. I have barely any meds because they aren't on the people I kill. And you can say, oh, why don't you just look for keycards, or why don't you grow meds? Where is the fun in that? Anyway, I don't mean to sound bitchy. I think what CWS could do is not allow keycards in secure containers at all. Hot take, I know. I got all the Timmy screaming at me, but yeah. For number 3, we actually have the players being spread too thin. If you don't know what I mean by this, I'm saying there's not enough of an active player base to have all maps full, including day and night variants at all times with good loading times. Do I think Combat Waffle added too many maps? Yes and no. I think that the day-night shift system was a bad idea because you don't know which map people are going to. For example, if I see 5 AM and 5 PM on the terminal to select the map's time, while I would go 5 AM to carry into the daylight, fully kitted Timmy might go 5 PM because there's still some daylight left. We both want daylight, right? But there's no straight day or night anymore. And don't get me started on mole night and day. Why does that exist? If I'm trying to match up against Chad, but Chad chooses 2 AM rather than 2 PM, I don't get him on my lobby now, and we don't have a fun fight and I don't get his gear. And now I'm left in a dead lobby with no one. To be honest, all they need to do is bring back classic night and day for Island and Mutka. Because by reducing the amount of map/map variants, it makes it so there's less choice for players, so like-minded people who want to run the same map plus time as you get together and we all have our fun fights. And if you want dead lobbies, go play PvE. Sorry, just had to throw that out there. But coming in at number 4, we have the meds. Now cheese, how can something as simple as the meds be ruined? I'm glad you asked, random citizen. We went from just being able to stick it in your arm and heal, to having to hold it in your arm to heal, which I think was actually a very good idea by Combat Waffle. Well, I wasn't very happy at the time, but now I've realized. Anyway, we went from peak to dog shit. You're telling me I have to open my bag, take out a med, pull the cap off, and then stick it in a body part which takes 10 years to actually stick in, and then hold a button until it's done. Are we serious? Yeah, so all they need to do is just add those little points for the med to stick in on all parts of the body, since they did do the healing system revamp obviously, which allows all the body parts to be healed. Now this isn't my proudest idea, it would probably look really ugly, but I just wish that it didn't take so long for the meds to catch onto the body. You used to be able to heal really quickly and get back into the fight. Now, not so much. I do think we could keep the new meds, but either remove the button hold or remove the cap from the meds. It's either or really. I would rather they remove the caps, but if it's one less step to heal, it's fine by me. But hey, up at number 5, we have some more island problems.
Yay!
Now instead of the colours, it's the layout. I have a fair few problems with the layout of New Island compared to old, but before I start yapping, I know many people will disagree with me. This is my opinion as someone who plays the game for the fun of PvP, not really questing or looting, but hey, if you agree with me, I like you. Okay, so here is a map of the old island. This is like old island where you got a couple more extracts than some of us remember over at Gore Pit and their storage. But yeah, here are my points on why this layout is infinitely better than that layout. For me at least. So to start us off, obviously here we have research, or labs, or whatever you want to call it, right? And from research, this is what people hate the most, you can hold every player in the lobby from extracting. So we have, coming up here to church, say you want to go like into garage extract, right? Can't do that, obviously. It's right under labs. You come down here from radio, obviously they're going to see you. Around from tunnel to docks, they're going to see you. Because obviously, these guys over at prison can't extract border. These guys over at beach can't extract beach. So you're going to cross paths with whoever's on top of labs at some point. And you know, there's a lot of different ways you can go. You could go from radio, try to sneak up the back to border. They're still going to see you. Prison, sneak down the back to beach. They're going to see you. I think I made my point, right? No matter what you do, you're going to get seen by whoever's on top of research. But that's the thing, I love that. That makes it so wherever you spawn, you have to rush to research and, you know, check purple spawns, get up to the top, and you just wait. That's the fun thing. If you're up on the top of this building right here, you get to fight everyone in the lobby. No one gets to leave. Unless, you know, they obviously kill you. Which is the fun of it, right? If you are one of these guys, if you're someone that's trying to get past the guys on top of roof, you'd either A, just fucking book it to an extract and hope they don't hit you too many times, or you gotta go through them, so you gotta kill them. And then it's like, wait, we killed the guys on research. Now we get a little reward. We get to loot their bodies, then we get to go extract with even more gear. And if you're the guys on research, you get to fight all these other players. If you kill everyone, then you get to go around and loot their gear and it's all fun. Now spawns. Here on this map, they've got some marked, you know. And island used to be very heavily spawn oriented. If you spawned right here at the back of the building, you would probably be the first one to get in. And being the first one to get on top of labs means a lot of power. Whereas if you spawned all the way over here at Gore Pit, it doesn't seem very fair that these guys get to be on top of roof while you have to get through them. But you know, it adds to the fun, it adds to the challenge of the extraction shooter. So yeah, that was my little rant. We are now gonna have a look at the new island and see why, in my opinion, it is actually worse. So yeah, to get us started, here, we obviously have research. Now, very much not as much of a choke point anymore, contrary to Old Island. So you can see from my standpoint here, right, there's just not as many good fights anymore, man. I go to labs and no one's there. Because you got a team over in prison, you got a team over at shipping, power station, mansion, weather, lighthouse. And as soon as someone comes over to labs, I mean, I'm already gone. I don't even see them. And if I do run into a team, let's say I'm up here on that hill, someone's down in the crater behind this rock. I'm trying to fight them. We're exchanging shots. This guy decides, you know what, I don't want to fight this anymore. And he fucking runs all the way. He probably doesn't even have this exfil. He runs all the way over to here. Or wherever the extract is, I can't remember. What the fuck am I meant to do about that? I spent all that time fighting him for 0 reward. So yeah, there's my standpoint on that, in which that also leads us into point number 6, which is actually the gameplay loop. So if you don't know what that is, it is the rinse and repeat of any game. For example, I load into the island of Tabor, I spawn somewhere, loot around, check purple spawns, extract, and repeat. Now this has been cooked since they made so many different spawns for the big one, keycards, and you know, streamer items and such. Now don't get me wrong, the whole point of the game is to go in, loot, extract. But when you have too many places where players want to go, no one ends up seeing each other half the time unless you run into someone going for the same place as you. Whereas for example, research on island was a very good high tier loot area with a couple of purple spawns, so of course everyone would want to go there, and then you could have some fun fights over the purples or whatever you found in there. Another example being Mutka Underground, there was what, one red spawn in the old bunker where everyone would go? Then, here's where they introduced the multiple different spawn shit. No one pushes 1 or 2 areas anymore. Everyone's kinda spread, and you can say this is a good thing. It keeps it so you can find a team somewhere random on the map, but having somewhere where everyone goes is just really good for the PvP side. So I really think all they need to do is make one really good spot on some of these maps. Of course there can be some other good loot areas, but this one's gotta be crazy. So yeah, you've probably noticed by now that I really love the game for the PvP. I don't like New Island because 1, it looks shit, but 2, it actually fucks the PvP over. I'm not a fan of secure containers because when I kill someone I don't get all of their loot, etc, etc. Well, this is where point number 7 stands, camping. I will admit there is something I like about New Island, and it's the trees. They're impossible to camp in, which is amazing, right? No one likes campers, but truth be told, I don't think there is a way to combat them. They're in every single multiplayer shooter you will ever find. However, I do think that there should be some motive to not camp. Now I've got a crazy idea that I'll say at the end of the video, but, you know, I think a motive to not camp is, it's fucking boring. And no one should be checking my AWM sniping video that was a long time ago and I'm a changed man. But yeah, running around and looting and shooting is the whole idea of the game and should be done. And at the end of the day, they're only pixels and these pixels will get wiped anyway. So just have fun with it, you camping Timmies. I don't think anyone should be disagreeing that camping is a bad thing. But number 8 here might have some split responses. Naked runs. Naked runs are an actual sin of extraction shooters. You go in expecting all reward with no risk. Diabolical. And secure containers make this even worse, because you can bring whatever fits up your ass into raid. If you get killed, you lose nothing. If you kill someone, because you have 10 impact shoved up there, you gain everything. If you get killed in a fight, they only lose meds or the ammo in their gun and gain absolutely nothing. This is why I believe they need to implement scav kits, which they said they were going to add, or free loadouts like in Arc Raiders. I think the free loadout system is actually very good in Arc Raiders. You get a random gun with minimal heals and backpack space, all free of charge, infinitely. So why wouldn't you choose to run one of these free loadouts over absolutely nothing? It makes it so you actually have something to fight with, or if someone kills you, it was actually worth their time. Because you have a backpack, you might have looted something good, or maybe they just want your gun or heals, rather than gaining nothing. So to be honest, they really just need to hurry up on these scav kits and all will be well. There'll most likely be a timer on them like most other extraction shooters, but if they don't, I actually think that'll be beneficial. Until the only thing people are running are scav kits, so I really don't know, CWS can decide. Nearing the end here at number 9, we have the general player interactions. People generally used to just talk to you more. Now barely anyone talks, and they just shoot. I'm aware I'm kinda contradicting myself here by saying all these things about PvP and then not wanting people to shoot. But if I'm in a room next to some other guy, and we're battling it out, and we just took a cheeky little heal break, I want to turn my mic on and have a little chat with this guy. But he won't. I do think people used to talk more back then than now. Definitely when you and some other guy are just naked, pause, and you'll loot around with him, grab a couple of nice things you want to keep, but as soon as he gets his hands on a gun, he's going to shoot you instantly. I do think people were definitely a bit more friendly back then, but honestly it might not have changed, who knows. And finally, the big number 10, bags. Now this ain't the biggest problem, I kinda ran out of ideas, but to be honest they were better in Old Tabor. Yeah, they used to fly away more often, but collisions in bags made it so much more convenient for bag organisation and utilising the space. So the edges of the bags should have no collisions and the items inside should have collisions. Because another reason being that it was low-key fun to search bags for keycards. you know, flying your gun through it and the feeling of hitting something inside the bag was so good until you figured out it was a damn ram stick. But yeah, that is my 10 points. If you have anything else, definitely drop it in the comments. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. This video low-key took me ages, even though it may not seem like it. Oh, and CWS, bring back Old Island as a separate map, please. And here is my final idea for the game. In your bunker, you choose a kit, you bring in that kit, and you get to fight other people who also chose a kit. So you have a full lobby of chads for the sole purpose of PvPing. There's no extracts and you don't get any of the gear off the people you kill. It's purely for fun and love of the game. Let me know what you think about that one. I know it won't ever get added, but hey, I'll see you guys in the next one. We're going to try aim for at least one YouTube video a week starting now, and yeah, cheers for watching.